She's a beautiful train conductor, and in 2 minutes she'll be dead, killed by a demented female passenger. She rides on her back, making a horrible snapping sound. Everyone in the carriage was very puzzled, and no one dared to do anything, until the conductor fell down and gradually became silent. When people looked closely, the woman suddenly jumped up and threw herself at another passenger, and there was a sudden chaos in the carriage. A girl was horrified to find that the motionless train conductor started to twitch, and the girl saw the scariest face in her life. The train conductor had become a zombie. Not far away, a male train conductor ran towards the car where the accident occurred. The ignorant people looked over curiously. Unexpectedly, when he opened the door, the conductor was knocked down by the fleeing crowd. There are already many zombies in the entire carriage, and more people are being infected. The one in front of the conductor was his former female colleague. He was not frightened and immediately stood up and turned around and ran away. When the little girl came out of the bathroom, several adults screamed and ran past her, almost hurting her. The zombies are already in this car. Fortunately, her father Gong happened to be between her and the zombies. Just as he witnessed a person mutating, he heard his daughter's voice, turned around, picked her up and ran away. Gong ran wildly all the way, and behind him, zombies were overwhelming. Gong sped up his escape and was stopped in front of a car door. He didn't dare to pass because someone turned into a zombie on the other side of the door. In this car, there is a man who cannot be messed with, named Robert. He was going to be a peacemaker, but people can't reason with zombies, and he was pressed against the wall. While Robert was dealing with the zombies, Gong ran away holding his daughter. Fortunately, Robert's strength is amazing. He grabbed the zombie and threw it into the toilet. Finally, Gong ran to the safe compartment. People here already know more or less about the nightmare in the rear. Someone yelled to close the door. Gong immediately moved. A pregnant woman was running towards him, but in the spirit of inhumanity, he closed the door at the last moment, and his daughter yelled not to. Fortunately, Robert on the opposite side was so powerful that he knocked over a zombie with one punch, forced the door open and brought his wife over. At this moment, the army of zombies was already crowded at the door. Gong found that these things seemed unable to open the door. They had lost their human thinking and only had attacking instincts left. Robert's wife covered the glass with a newspaper, and the zombies were quiet after being blocked from sight, and the cautious passengers were relieved. Robert, who had just been locked out, suddenly approached Gong and asked him to apologize. Gong refused. As a financial tycoon who has been beating drums for many years, he has long lost his basic conscience. Robert wanted to use his fist in anger, but was stopped by his wife. During this period of temporary safety, everyone is checking the news on their mobile phones, and various videos of zombie attacks circulated, making them cry in fright. At this time, Gong suddenly received a call from his mother. The mother's abnormal voice seemed to be speaking in severe pain, saying that she had been bitten by someone, and she also told Gong to take good care of her granddaughter. Then her words turned into roars. The call was cut off, and Gong knew that his mother was not spared either. Soon the train pulled into the station, and people saw a more terrifying scene through the windows. People on the platform patted the windows in horror. A man yelled for help and was thrown down by zombies in the next second, and then the passengers saw the bloody tragedy on the platform. Fortunately, the train did not stop at this station. They escaped unharmed, and tens of minutes passed in a panic. The train arrived at Taejun Station, and the train conductor announced that there were troops guarding here, so it should be safe. But when the train opened slowly, people looked outside and saw that Taejun Station was empty. What to do? They couldn't stay on the train, so people started to walk towards the exit. Not only the platform, but also the waiting room and the station hall are empty. People come to the elevator and take the elevator down slowly. People finally slowly saw that all the dense crowds in the square were zombies, and it was too late to run up, and some people had already fallen in the tide of corpses. Robert carried his wife to the other side of the stairs, and he followed closely. Gong was also in a passage. He saw countless zombies attacking him. When he turned his head, his daughter was already in danger. He ran over immediately. Just when the girl was about to be caught by the zombies, Robert appeared. He knocked down the zombies and ran away with the little girl. They came to a door. Robert and some students sealed the door. Gong rushed out but was thrown down by a zombie. He fought him desperately, but not as strong as others. Fortunately, when a beggar passed by him, he covered the zombie with a piece of clothing and saved his life. Robert yelled loudly, and Gong realized it. He rushed to the gate, and the zombie wave came behind him. Robert didn't shut him out. They put their bodies against the door together. Cautious people on the other side ran to the train. The pregnant woman was holding the little girl and hadn't gotten on the train yet. The glass upstairs was shattered. Zombies smashed down. They had no choice but to run in the opposite direction, and there were zombies running in front of them, so they had to find a compartment and get in. Gong finally locked the door, but the glass had already begun to shatter. They ran wildly. The glass behind them shattered, and when they reached the platform, the train had already started. 2 zombies threw down the 2 leading students, and the 3rd student was too scared to stand up. Gong pulled him up and ran with him. There were only 3 of them left to follow the train and run wildly all the way. The student and Gong got on the train first. Gong called Robert to go with him, but Robert ran to the other side. He went to pick up the shield and baton, told Gong to get out of the way. Gong looked back and was almost bitten by a zombie. When Robert knocked down the attacking zombies, he climbed up at the last moment before the train accelerated, and he was finally safe for the time being. Not long after getting in the car, all 3 men called important people. They learned that Robert's wife, Gong's daughter, an old lady and a beggar, were trapped in the washroom of the 13th car, surrounded by zombies. They were in danger. The 3 decided to save people. They were in the number 9 car, and the survivors were in the number 15 car, which meant that they had to kill all the way. The 3 looked at each other without any hesitation, wrapped their arms with their clothes and prepared to set off. When the train passed through the tunnel, Robert took the lead. Gong stood in the middle, and the students stood last, and the action began. They confronted the zombies head-on. After a fierce battle, they passed through the number 10 car. The 11th car was full of friends of the student. He was stunned. Robert pushed him away and started attacking. Soon both he and Gong were in danger. At this time, the train entered the tunnel, and the zombies were blinded when the light went dark, and they couldn't attack immediately. It seems that they are night blind. Taking advantage of the darkness, the 3 of them slipped away quietly. There was only 1 car left. The 3 of them were already exhausted, and there were more zombies in front of them. Gong is clever. Wait for the train to enter the tunnel, and when the zombies are not paying attention to them hiding in the middle of the carriage, he will make a sound to lead the zombies to the other side, and they are taking the opportunity to slip away. In this way, they passed safely, and finally found the important person. After meeting, they had no time to rest, and a group of people started to go to the number 15 carriage. In the number 14 carriage, they took advantage of the darkness of the tunnel and climbed over the luggage rack. When they reached the ground, the last beggar fell down. While the zombie turned around, they wanted to run, but the beggar stepped on the tin can. This attracted the attention of all the zombies. When Gong and the beggar passed by, Robert quickly closed the door, but it was a little late, and the door was stuck by the zombies. People on the other side rushed to car number 15, but they couldn't open the door. It turned out that the group of selfish survivors on the other side tied the door with their clothes, blocking their hope of survival. The zombie was so strong that Robert couldn't stop it. Gong hurried back and beat the zombie with a wooden stick. Robert couldn't hold it anymore. At this moment, a zombie bit the back of his hand. When Gong solved it, there was already a tooth mark on the back of Robert's hand. The angry student at the other end tried his best and finally smashed the glass. But just when they could escape, a middle-aged man rushed up and closed the next door, while the student blocked the car door with his arm. The middle-aged man tried his best, and several men rushed forward, trying to pinch the student's arm off. Gong's daughter shed tears in despair. Human nature is more terrifying than zombies. There was a crack in the glass here. Robert told Gong to go. He said he was dying. He begged Gong to take care of his lover. Behind his back, his wife was crying, and Gong finally couldn't bear to say the long overdue apology. He left and ran with the pregnant woman. The glass shattered. Robert stopped them with his last strength, and the zombies bit him. The virus continued to infect, and slowly, he lost consciousness. This man tried his best to lose his last trace of soul. With the help of Gong, the door blocked by the survivors was finally pushed open, and he sent his daughter and pregnant woman there. When he was about to save the old lady, she shook her head, and then was attacked by zombies. The old lady's younger sister almost collapsed as she watched her suffering. Gong finally closed the car door for safety. He punched the middle-aged man who closed the door first, screaming in anger. The middle-aged man pushed him away, falsely accused Gong of being infected, and incited other survivors to isolate the group of survivors to another carriage. Everyone thought it made sense, and started to tell them to get out, and the people in the car shouted and cursed one after another. This group of people passed obediently, and the rest of the survivors locked the door here, tied it with clothes, and never let them come in again. However, the retribution came very quickly. The sister of the old woman lost her sister just now, and she is despaired of human nature. She knows that some people must be punished. The younger sister walked to the door that blocked the zombies, and then opened the car door. Gong heard the screams coming from the opposite side. The group of people locked the door and couldn't open it anymore. They used selfishness to lock their own way. After a period of time, the train stopped urgently, and it turned out that the road ahead was blocked. The train conductor told the passengers to change trains, and after speaking, he jumped out of the train and looked for it everywhere. Soon he found a locomotive that was still running, and Gong got off with the others and ran away cautiously. Suddenly, a train on fire came from a distance and knocked over the train beside them. The four of them were also crushed under the train. Only 2 students were fine, and in the car that was breached by zombies, the middle-aged man and a conductor were still hiding in the bathroom. The wickedest man gets away, and his crimes continue. He pushed out his companion next to him, and he was able to escape. He ran all the way, fled to the carriage where the 2 students were, grabbed the student girl, and let her be attacked by zombies. The student boy hurriedly turned his head to defeat the zombie, but after defeating him, he found that the girl was dead. The middle-aged man ran away again, but the student boy didn't choose to run away. He cried and apologized with the girl until she finally mutated. The middle-aged man tripped over while running towards the departing train. The train conductor went down to rescue him, but was caught by zombies. The middle-aged man was bitten on the leg. Then he got up and ran away without saving the train conductor. The fallen train in front of Gong is full of zombies. He quickly found a gap and climbed out first, and then asked the people inside to come out. At this moment, the window shattered and the zombies fell. The beggar rushed forward, stopped them with his body, and protected the 2 women. In the face of disaster, some people in suits are cowardly and humble, and some people in rags are heroic and noble. The pregnant woman and the little girl finally escaped. The 3 of them started to run, and the zombies rushed out. They ran wildly, finally caught up with the last train. And they thought they were safe. But when they came to the cab, there was a middle-aged man who was about to mutate. At this time, he was no longer vicious, but begged pitifully for Gong to take him home. He said his mother was still waiting for him. Not long after, the middle-aged man mutated. During the fight, it attacked the pregnant woman. In desperation, Gong had to hug its head, but he was still bitten. Gong jumped down with the zombies, and grabbed the railing desperately to climb back. Looking at the wound on his hand, he knew that there was not much time left for him. Gong led the 2 to the cab, then looked at his daughter and said the last farewell. The daughter cried and begged him not to leave. Gong heard the collapse and burst into tears, but she could only reluctantly pull her daughter's hand away and ran out by herself. He cried and ran to the back of the car, where he was leaning against the wall. His consciousness gradually blurred. At the last edge of his life, he suddenly remembered the time when his daughter was just born. In front of his eyes, the beautiful appearance of his daughter appeared, and the happiness in his memories filled his dying. Knowing that he has no regrets in this life, the father smiled one last time before falling off the train. At the end, the camera passes through the green field, and the 2 women who were guarded by people with their lives came to Busan. They heard little girls singing as soldiers nearly shot them. They knew that they were 2 surviving human beings. The little girl once learned this song and wanted to sing it to her father, but he didn't hear it later. Now, it's a testament to their humanity and a symbol of the beauty of life, a gift from her father.
만날 때까지